guys, so today is another perfume video and I want to talk to you about a perfume that is in my current perfume rotation, and I really hope that you go and watch that video because there's a little bit more of an overview of what kind of fragrances I've pulled out for this particular rotation. And this has been my most worn so far, and it's Narciso Rodriguez for her Musc collection, Eau de Parfum Intense. Don't be scared with the Intense. I'll explain to you why it's wearable. But let's see first the bottle, of course. The packaging is genius and gorgeous, and I love Narciso packaging. It's always very minimalistic, very clean, crisp, and beautiful. This particular edition is not great for the camera because it's very reflective, but in person it's just beautiful. It has this mercury finish to it in sort of black and pink. Very, very beautiful. And what is it? It is a heaven for musk lovers. I am a musk lover. I have certain notes that I really favor in perfumery, and I think we're all like that. I'm not a particularly big fan of super sweets. I do like floral. I like most genres except for ultra sweet, unless it's extremely high quality and interesting. But usually very, very sweet fragrances and patchouli based fragrances make me a little bit sick, so I can't tolerate them. I do, however, love musks, and I have always loved musks, and this is an absolutely beautiful specimen in terms of perfumery for musky heaven. Narciso is very well known for their musks. They have a very specific molecular formulation. It's a fragrance signature that they put in every single fragrance they have. You can recognize Narciso fragrances by their musk. And no matter what the rest of the formulation is like, they really round their fragrances around musk. In 2009, they did make this line, the Musc line, and unfortunately it was limited edition. I cannot find this anymore. I might be able to find it online. I will try. But they released this Musc collection very well knowing that they're a Musc-based perfume house. In my opinion, that's what they are so good at, and they should stay doing that because that's what makes the most sense to me. That's what they do. Their niche, so to say, is musk and floral loving auditorium of people who enjoy what they do, and I definitely belong to that auditorium of people. Musc collection was very special. Now, this is not exactly what they usually do. To be honest, more frequently than not, Narciso builds the rest of the fragrance around their signature musk and their rose. Usually that's where things revolve around. And here we have a fragrance without any trace of rose. It still, of course, is their musk, and you can feel it, but it is hotter, it is slightly spicy, and it is a very interesting and different scent that I have never smelled before. The spiciness probably comes, there's such a ever smallest, tiniest maybe undertone of sweetness there, but it's super toned down, and I'm not even gonna mention it any more than that because it's really super minor. So if you're not a fan of sweet scents like myself, then I think this is really great. It is clean, it is very hot, it's hot air fragrance, not that you need to wear it in hot air, but it creates this sensation of hot air. And it's based heavily around, in my opinion, 3 ingredients, mostly 2 ingredients really, which is musk and ylang-ylang, which is a beautiful yellow floral, one of the very few that I can tolerate at all. And I love ylang-ylang, but it's not the same sweet tropical take on ylang-ylang as is in Chanel fragrances. They're usually also circulating heavily around ylang-ylang and jasmine, which is exactly what is here, ylang-ylang, jasmine, and a huge dose of musk. So here we're talking about this musk being colored by the florals. Jasmine is very clean, minimal, quite realistic, but is a small dose of jasmine. And ylang-ylang is such an interesting floral here. It's slightly spicy. There's a little tang to it. There's something very inexplicable, like like inhaling spices, but without tasting any spices. It's just this thing in your nose that you're like, oh, that is interesting. And I haven't smelled anything like it, like this particular Ylang Ylang before. I love Ylang Ylang in my fragrances, if you haven't caught on to that yet. But here, this hotness isn't like hot air feeling. It comes, I think, from that particular, not quite spicy, but just a little bit of a something different aroma associated with the flower, and all of that is based on a hot musk. It's pretty clean, but it's not sterile. It's not like laundry musk at all. If you're thinking that, please think again. This is a very sophisticated, very interesting formulation. This slight spiciness and slight floral undertones, the whole thing really makes you feel of a very intimate atmosphere. Like nobody's wearing perfume, but you've been rolling around the sheets a while. Maybe there's like a remainder of your body scent, whatever you were wearing, and maybe drier sheets. And it's a summer day and it's hot outside and you're a little bit sweaty but not smelly. This is the kind of feeling you get from it. But the interesting thing is really this fragrance, although that's the kind of thoughts it evokes, for me, it really is a very wearable fragrance. Because of the musk base, like this is the associations I make with it, but I think it's completely appropriate to wear day to day. It's completely appropriate for work because the staying power is really good. Like full day, no problem. And it is called Eau de Parfum intense, so it should be wearable all day. But really the impressive thing is, again, the formulation. And I love these formulations that are not super huge throw, so super huge sillage where everybody can smell you from 15 feet. But this is quite intimate also in terms of the sillage. It's like a arm's length, but really beautiful and subtle. However long lasting. This is what I look for in a fragrance. I don't necessarily want to kill everybody with a nuclear bomb of a fragrance. That's not my intention, and I don't like doing that, and I get annoyed when people do that because I want to have a choice in smelling your perfume. Like if I come close enough to you and I smell it, I want to have a choice to move away. If you're wearing a fragrance that is super powerful, you're taking away my choice to not smell it if I don't like it. And some people are like, I don't care if people like it. I'm just going to do what I'm like, you do you, but be respectful to other humans around you. That's why I really, as much as I love perfumes, I am not pro olfactory murder. I really don't like that. What I do like is a wonderfully constructed fragrance that is sophisticated and very long lasting, but it doesn't kill everything in like 10-meter radius. So this is one of those. Otherwise, some scents, like for instance, I still use very potent scents, but you have to dose them very carefully, and sometimes even really potent scents don't tend to last as long as this does on my skin. So this is either a formulation that works super well with my skin or just a great formulation. I lean towards it being a great formulation because I've tried hundreds and hundreds of perfumes in my life, and I own probably hundreds. And I have a pretty good idea of how a fragrance should behave on skin, and subtlety is difficult to find nowadays. It's either like a scent bomb with tons of sweets and gives you a curious just by smelling it, or it is a diluted piss of a water that doesn't do anything and doesn't have any staying power. This is the real deal, the real thing. Very sophisticated, very beautiful, nuanced, although the number of ingredients is very limited, but it's such high quality ingredients that they're very nuanced and special, and I have not smelled anything like it from any other line. And I've smelled a lot of musks. I'm a fan of musks, but I haven't smelled a musk quite like this one before. I do recommend you check it out. However, I have to say that this scent is not going to be for everyone, and you have to be aware of that when you order it or try it, because this is the scent that it does have a little bit of poetry in it, a little bit of imagination, and super minimalist ingredient list. It might, because of the quality, the slightly spicy quality of the ylang ylang and the hotness of musk, I can see it going rancid on certain skins, maybe in on very oily skins, or if your skin chemistry doesn't mix quite well with this particular fragrance, I can see that one going super rancid and gross. But if you have the right chemistry to go with a perfume, not that there is such a thing as a wrong chemistry, but if it's a good blend of chemistry plus perfume, it's gorgeous. It's almost poetic. It's very beautiful and very subtle and very minimalistic. If you are a fan of minimalism and musk, this one is the one to go for. So I chatted you up enough, I think. That's it for today. Have a good day. See you later. Bye-bye.